Hey friends, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Christine and I am down to the last little bit of my elderberry syrup, which I take every day during this time of year, cold, flu, etc. And I have to say, I've been a little under the weather, so I've been drinking it a little bit faster than normal. So I definitely need to make a batch up, and so I just thought I'd show you the recipe that I love. So come on with. Okay, let's get the ingredients in the pot and on the stove, and we're going to get that up to a simmer and simmer for about 45 minutes, and then it should reduce down. So I'm actually going to put in my ingredients first, and then we're going to put in the filtered water. So right now we're going to do 1 cup, and these are the dehydrated dried berries that you saw in the beginning. And I have so many of them, I haven't opened this other bag yet, and so I am going to be putting 1 cup, and so this is a 1/4 cup measurement, and I'm just going to put 1 full cup of the berries in my pot. And the only ingredient that you do need to wait for until it's basically cooled down is the honey at the very end. So that's the only thing that we're not going to be adding. That's 3, 1 more, and then that'll make my full 1 cup. Okay, I love these scoopers because they have a really nice long neck on them. All right, so there's that. And then I am going to put 1 anise star. That is optional. I just really like the flavor of anise. It's kind of like black licorice, so it's one of those things you either love or hate. So I love it. I'm putting that in. And then next is the cinnamon. And the cinnamon, we are doing 2 teaspoons. And you can adjust your recipe how you like. Like if you like more cinnamon, if you like more licorice. Some people don't like any licorice. You can definitely adjust it. Same with the next thing. So the next thing is ginger. You either love it or hate it. And sometimes you can disguise it. So, all right, so I am going to do, let me see, it is 2 tablespoons of ginger is the recipe that I like. So there's 1, and I'm sure you can use natural ginger root, 2. Okay, and it's 2 tablespoons. And then the other thing that I just love that really gives it its flavor, I should put these here, is the cloves. You can use ground cloves, but I actually happen to have some whole, which I got to get in a jar. And I'm just going to be doing a 1/2 teaspoon of actual cloves in there, kind of like a little heaping of 1. Okay. And last but not least, so last for this session is the filtered water. And like I said, we're going to wait for the honey to wait until after it's cooled. And it basically kind of reduces by half. So I'm going to get this filtered water in here. And this is 4 cups. So it's 4 cups of water per 1 cup of the actual berries. And elderberry is one of those things that you absolutely do not want to eat fresh, I believe, because they're very potent. And actually on the back of my bag, it actually says, let's see, where does it say? Do not consume elderberries uncooked. Always cook with boiling water before use. So I'm just kind of mixing everything together, and I'm going to get it on the stove, and we're going to be simmering this, like I said, 45 minutes to an hour, and your house is going to smell amazing. So I'm down to my last little bit of elderberry syrup. I pretty much take it every day. I've been really fighting this whatever cold that's been going around. Had it for about a month on and off, and I've been kind of guzzling it down this month, and even like traveling with it, etc. So I'm gonna get this on the stove, and then we'll come back once it's simmering, and then I'll show you my cool trick to pushing it through a sieve and getting all the juice out, and then we'll be putting it in a nice glass jar. So I just kind of turned it down. It's definitely changing color now, so I'm just going to turn it all the way off. And I'm just going to let it sit for a little bit. It's got to cool down before we add the honey so we don't scorch the honey. So I'm going to set a timer for about 10 minutes and get it off the burner and into just kind of regular atmosphere so that it can cool down. Okay friends, this has cooled down long enough, so I'm going to get my honey in there, and I'm using 1 cup. And I actually had a couple different honeys I wanted to use up. And the reason why you wait for this to cool down is because it can scorch pretty easily if your product is too hot. So I just took it off the stove and let it cool. I think it's been about 15 minutes or so. And so should be good. I'm just gonna get this all in there and then whisk it around until everything is combined. And then I found a fun trick. Instead of using up all my cheesecloth, and I'll show you in a second here, once we get everything mixed up. Okay. Set that to the side. And I'm just gonna whisk this in. Make sure it's all combined really good. And you can see how dark it turned. And it still is warm, so it should just kind of meld together really nicely. Okay. All right, so my trick for funneling out all of the berries and all of the sediment that we have is I actually use, instead of cheesecloth, I use a really fine mesh sieve, like for sifting for baking, and I actually have a bowl that it fits kind of perfectly right over the top. And then the other thing that I like to use is a really kind of flat spoon, so I can really mush those berries down and extract as much juice as I can. So I'm gonna let this cool just for a few more minutes, and then we're gonna get to it. Okay friends, it's been a few minutes now, and I am going to get to sitting here. And like I said, I'm just so happy I kind of figured this out so I don't have to use a ton of cheesecloth. And this is probably, should be just about right. I have my glass bottle out that I'm going to utilize, and like I said, I've only got a little bit left of my other batch, so just can't shake this cold, so I'm just going to make up another batch. All right, so I'm going to ladle this onto here, and then I'm going to take my spoon and squash it through. And then so you can see the berries have fully rehydrated. And I just found that taking your time and squishing everything in sight till it becomes like a mash, and then you get all of that juice out of the berries, which is the whole purpose of making this concoction. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that it's syrup, but I just say it's like it's the recipe that I really like. It's very drinkable. You really do have to like, you know, clove and anise, etc., the star. And it's so good. This is my easiest way to make it, and this is probably my 3rd or 4th batch. I bought the dried elderberry on Amazon, I want to say, so I can link that below. And it was on some kind of sale. I think I got it on one of the Prime days, so it was a better deal. And then what I'm going to do is, I know some people save this, so I think I'm going to try to save this and then put it on, put it in some muffins or something, don't you think? All right, let me grab, that's one thing I did grab. Let me grab a bowl quick. And then you pretty much start over. So you see, I mean, if it does get too dirty inside, you can rinse it in between, but this just works so perfect. And I do have a pan underneath just for extra mess, etc. But let's get to sifting here. Okay, I just put the last of this in here, and now you can see why I put a pan underneath, because it is messy. So I feel like I've squished and squashed and should be good, perfect, clear elderberry juice, syrup, whatever you want to call it. And all I know is that this is my favorite recipe, and I am going to get this in the jar, hopefully not too messily, and then you can kind of see how much it yields. So I might just put the bottle on here, because with my luck, all right. And I am making a mess. So, real life kitchen. I'm glad my apron has some spots on it already. A little bit more. Okay. All right. Perfect yield. Perfectly messy. And let's get this video closed up. You can leave this out. I do go through it fast enough, but if you do plan on keeping it for longer, definitely put it in the fridge. Okay friends, I'm so happy to have another batch done here. I just want to show you I'm down to my last little inch or so of my last batch, and now I'm feeling really excited. So the protocol with elderberry in general is for children over, especially like this recipe with honey in it, so children over 1 year old, you can do 1 teaspoon a day for preventative. And then if they do happen to get a cold, sniffle, etc., 4 to 6 times a day. This is not medical advice or anything, but that's just kind of the protocol of utilizing all of the wonderful things that elderberry has. It is, on top of it helping your immune system, it's also anti-inflammatory. It's a nice like warming. It's just so good for you. So then let's see, for adults is 1 tablespoon a day. So I actually keep it right next to my sink, right next to my little Brazil nuts and our probiotics, etc. So 1 tablespoon of this a day for preventative. And then I'm sure you can hear in my voice, I've been sick for about a month or so now with this blasted cold. So I'm struggling a little bit, but I've been sipping on it, again, 4 to 6 times a day. And then it actually helps coat your throat. It just helps medicinally. So like I said, I'm super excited to have this back in stock. And if you like videos like this, I do canning, dehydrating, a little bit of gardening here and there, which I'm hoping to get better at. I also do preparedness, organizing, and actually I'm so in love with that hack. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Instead of using a whole bunch of cheesecloth, I just used the 1 sieve and it worked great. I can't say that it's going to hold out because I'm pressing on it, but I'm using it more for this than I do for sifting because I have other sifters for that. So let me know in the comments what you thought of that. And I do appreciate you stopping by my little channel. And if you like videos like this, hit that like and subscribe. And I will see you next time on Christine's Routines. Take care and God bless. I'd show you the recipe that I love. It's been a little bit on, what am I trying to say?